cashbook screen will display all daily transactions. Currently, it is blank. Suppose our customer has ordered goods and we issued an invoice. Since this transaction belongs to sales, I will click on the Sales button, then choose Invoice to Customer from the pop-up menu. I will choose a customer, John Smith, from the pick list and list the ordered items. Miscellaneous tools with quoted prices. The invoice number will be automatically generated. However, you can always override it and the program will increment the last number in the next invoice. If any of the customers had outstanding balance at the time of preparation of this company file, we could enter an invoice and show the accumulated balance. In the product list, we would show account 1360 trade debtors and enter the accumulated balance in the amount column. In the contact screen, I can then check the updated balance of the contact. Let's say the customer has made a payment which partially covered the invoice total. I will click on the Sales button since this transaction relates to sales, then select Payment from Customer. I have to select a bank account, usually account 1850, which is our check account. Then choose the customer from the pick list and the outstanding customer invoices will be listed. In this case, it is a single invoice of $1,000 that we just issued. Enter the paid amount, let's say it was $800, and it will be allocated to the outstanding invoice. If I save this transaction, the outstanding balance will be displayed. In this case, it is $200 out of the invoiced $1,000. You can double click on the transaction to see its details. $1,000 invoiced and the $800 payment displayed on the bottom of the screen. If the customer paid for goods at the time of purchase, then you can register transactions via Sales, Received Money. You should show the paid amount and list the items you sold. Suppose John Smith paid $100 for miscellaneous tools on the spot. This transaction will not change the outstanding balance of John Smith, as he paid for the goods. The $200 outstanding is from the previous invoice. The filter at the bottom of the screen allows us to filter receivables, which will list unpaid invoices. When the cashbook contains a lot of transactions, the receivables filter will help you address your debtors. If for any reason your customer returned the goods, you can register this as a credit note to customer transaction. Select the customer, then list the goods that were returned and the amounts you agree to pay back to the customer. This transaction will reduce the balance of the customer and reduce the sales by $200. To settle returns and credits, select Sales and Settle Returns and Credits. Choose the customer and the credits will be listed in this table. There are two options to settle the returns or credits. You can choose to pay the client or apply the credit to the outstanding invoice. Let's choose the outstanding balance to apply the credits. If I save this transaction, the cashbook will strike through the original invoice and credit note amounts indicating they are closed. The contacts will also update the balance for John Smith. With his payment and issued credit note, he cleared his balance. The entry of purchase transactions is very similar to sales. Suppose we ordered Business Assistant. To register this transaction, I will click on the Purchases button and select Order or Invoice from Supplier. I will then choose Software Assistant as a supplier and list the purchases Computers and Software, which is account 7270. I will list an amount of $330 and click the OK button to save the transaction. The cashbook screen will show the order and the balance of the supplier will be displayed as a negative amount in the contacts page. This indicates credit or money owing to the supplier. The payment can be registered via purchases, payment to supplier. This is where I will choose the supplier and enter the payment amount, like in the sales section. Let's make the matter more complicated and make a partial payment. Let's pay $220. The outstanding amount of $110 will be displayed in the cashbook. We can also use the payables filter to filter unpaid supplier invoices. This outstanding amount can be paid with another payment. However, let's say we negotiated a discount and the supplier has issued us with a credit note of $110. Let's enter this transaction. To settle this credit note, I will click on Purchases, as the credit note relates to the purchase of Business Assistant, and select Settle Returns and Payments. I will then choose to apply the credit to the outstanding invoice. The invoices are now paid and the credit is settled. In case of an immediate purchase, we will use the Purchase Spent Money option. Let's say we filled the fuel tank of our company car. We will use a miscellaneous supplier and enter the purchase. We will use account 7510, which is fuel and motor oil. Say we spend $76 on petrol. These transactions will appear in the cashbook. The balance of the miscellaneous supplier will not be changed since the payment was made at the time of purchase.